Here are the top 3 signs you're chasing the wrong success. 1. You achieve goals but feel empty inside. 2. Your pursuit damages relationships. And 3. Your definition excludes God. Have you ever noticed how the world's definition of success leaves so many people feeling completely empty inside? I mean, we see it all the time. Celebrities with millions of dollars, dream homes, and adoring fans who still end up struggling with depression, addiction, and even taking their own lives. It's heartbreaking, but it reveals something profound about what we've been taught to chase. Think about it. Our culture bombards us with this message that success means accumulating material possessions and impressive credentials. We're told that if we can just reach that next level, then we'll finally be happy. But is that actually true? The evidence suggests otherwise. Consider Robin Williams. Here was a man who achieved everything the world values: fame, fortune, critical acclaim, and the love of millions. Yet beneath that success was a person battling demons so severe that he ultimately took his own life. His story reflects a tragic pattern we see repeated among those who reach the pinnacle of worldly success, yet still struggle with profound unhappiness. Study after study confirms that once our basic needs are met, additional wealth and status barely increase our happiness or life satisfaction. Yet we keep running on this treadmill, constantly pushing for more, convinced that the next achievement will finally make us feel complete. Jesus addressed this exact issue in Matthew chapter 16 verses 26 to 27, asking, "What good will it be for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul?" I reflected on this verse during a period when I was obsessively tracking my social media metrics, convinced that hitting certain subscriber numbers would bring fulfillment. When I reached those goals, all I felt was exhaustion and disconnection from the people who mattered most to me. That's the cruel irony of pursuing worldly success. It often damages the very things that bring genuine joy and meaning. Our relationships suffer as we prioritize achievement over connection. Our health deteriorates as we sacrifice sleep and self-care for productivity. And our spiritual well-being takes a massive hit as we drift away from the practices that connect us to God and our purpose. The research backs this up completely. People focused on extrinsic goals like wealth, fame, and image report higher levels of anxiety and depression compared to those who prioritize personal growth, relationships, and community contribution. This explains why so many successful people feel unhappy and unfulfilled. They're measuring success by what they gain rather than who they become. They're accumulating possessions while neglecting the development of their character and spiritual health. But what if everything we've been taught about success is fundamentally flawed? What if God's definition of success is completely different from our culture's version? What if the things our society celebrates as making it are actually considered foolishness in God's economy? And what if the path to true fulfillment has been right in front of us all along, hidden in plain sight in the pages of Scripture? That path to true fulfillment has been hiding in plain sight all along. Remember Joseph from the Old Testament? The guy went from being sold into slavery to being falsely imprisoned, yet something extraordinary happened during his darkest moments. Scripture tells us the Lord was with Joseph so that he prospered. Wait, what? Prospering while in prison? That doesn't make any sense. Unless God's definition of success is completely different from what we've been taught. See, the world measures success by what you have. God measures success by who you are. It's that simple and that revolutionary. When we look at Joseph's story in Genesis chapter 39, we discover something mind-blowing. Here was a man who had literally everything taken from him: his family, his freedom, his reputation, and yet the Bible describes him as successful. Why? Because success in God's economy isn't about your circumstances, it's about His presence in your life. The text reveals this profound truth. The Lord was with Joseph so that he prospered. Joseph's success was defined by his relationship with God. Can you imagine how freeing that is? You can be successful even when everything looks like failure by worldly standards. While we're chasing promotions, followers, and bigger houses, God is watching how we respond to challenges, how we treat others, and whether we're becoming more like Jesus through it all. This transformation in our character is the bridge that connects our personal journey to the powerful imagery found throughout Scripture. Psalm 1 paints a vivid picture of what this success looks like in everyday life. It describes a person who delights in the law of the Lord as being like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season, and whose leaf does not wither. Whatever they do prospers. This isn't about getting everything you want, it's about being deeply rooted and spiritually nourished. Think about what this looks like in real life. Staying steady during life's storms, producing good works without burning out, and maintaining peace when everything around you is chaotic. Trees thrive when connected to a water source. Similarly, our success is determined by our connection to God, not by achievements or accolades. When we're rooted in His Word and His presence, we naturally bear fruit and prosper in ways that truly matter. Jesus Himself emphasized this redefined view of success. In Luke chapter 9 verse 48, He told His disciples, "For it is the one who is least among you all who is the greatest." While the world says climb to the top, Jesus celebrates those who serve at the bottom. While society honors those who gain power, Jesus honors those who give it away through service and sacrifice. This perspective liberates us. When success is defined by faithfulness rather than achievement, we're freed from the exhausting cycle of comparison. You no longer have to worry about having a bigger house than your neighbor or more Instagram followers than your coworker. The question becomes, am I becoming who God created me to be? Not am I better than others? It releases us from the pressure of constant achievement. You don't have to be anxious about whether you're successful enough, because success isn't measured by what you produce, but by how you live. It's about character, not credentials. Relationship, not resumes. So what's the biblical truth about success that could completely change your life? Success is about who you are becoming, not what you're achieving. God is far more concerned with your character development than your career development. He cares more about your heart than your house, more about your faith than your finances. When we embrace this definition, something beautiful happens. We find peace. We discover purpose. We experience the freedom that comes from knowing our value isn't tied to our performance. That freedom we experience isn't just a nice spiritual concept. It transforms how you make decisions every single day. What if the secret to having your plans actually succeed isn't working harder or being smarter, but something so simple that most people completely miss it? Proverbs 16:3 reveals a truth about success that will flip your daily to-do list upside down. Picture this. You're heading into a big meeting at work. Your stomach's in knots. You've rehearsed your talking points a dozen times, but what if there's a better way? Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans. That's it. That's the secret from Proverbs 16:3. Instead of stressing about impressing everyone, you pause and pray, God, I commit this meeting to you. Your purposes matter more than my performance. That simple shift changes everything. The pressure lifts. Your success isn't defined by whether everyone loves your presentation, but by your faithfulness to God in that moment. This goes against everything our world teaches us. Our social media feeds are packed with hustle culture quotes. Our coworkers climb the ladder at all costs. Even our friends give us weird looks when we choose family time over another overtime shift. Living by God's blueprint means swimming upstream. But here's truth number 2 that makes all the difference. Success comes through trusting God rather than relying on our own understanding. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek His will in all you do, and He will show you which path to take." It's like navigating through a storm at sea. You have your own ideas about which direction to go. The waves look manageable over there. The sky seems lighter in that direction. But the compass, God's guidance, points somewhere completely different. When you trust that compass over what your eyes see, you discover the safe passage that was invisible to you before. Think about how this changes your approach to major life decisions. That job offer with the bigger salary? Maybe it's not God's path for you. The reasonable choice? Perhaps it's not God's best. When we trust His guidance over our limited view, we step into success that aligns with our true purpose. Truth number 3 completely reframes our progress. Success is measured by faithfulness with what God has entrusted to us, not by comparison to others. Jesus teaches in Luke 16:10-11, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much." This principle of stewardship brings incredible freedom. The pressure to keep up disappears. The small business owner who operates with integrity is as successful in God's eyes as any CEO. What matters is how faithful you are with what you have right now. So what might this look like practically? Joshua 1:8 gives us a clear action step. Study this book of instruction continually. Meditate on it day and night so you will be sure to obey everything written in it. Only then will you prosper and succeed. Try this. Before checking your phone each morning, spend just 5 minutes reading a verse and asking, God, how can I apply this today? This simple habit creates a foundation for everything else. Your morning routine begins with prayer instead of emails. Your career decisions prioritize integrity over advancement. Your financial choices focus on generosity rather than accumulation. Imagine approaching each day not as a battle to prove your worth, but as an opportunity to faithfully serve God where He's placed you. The comparison game ends. You're free to excel without the crushing weight of worldly expectations. So here's the thing, friends. At the end of the day, we're all chasing something. When life feels overwhelming, remember Myron Golden's wisdom. Wealth is a good idea because wealth is a God idea. It's about understanding success God's way. Remember Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you. They are plans for good and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope. That's His heart for you. Which path are you really on today? True success isn't found in what you gain, but in who you become when aligned with God's purpose. Like a tree planted by living waters, you'll flourish not by chasing your dreams, but by rooting yourself in the rich soil of His design for you. Stay blessed, my friends.